All right, all right, all right, all right, all right. Welcome, 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 welcome. Hello, happy Saturday. We are so excited to have you join us today for the Winter Summit Virtual Intensive. I'm Deborah Hartnett, your host, and I am the CEO and founder of Wealthy Sisters Media Group, who happens to be presenting you the most. I'm telling you today, if you have not, I can't tell you what today is going to be like. I could just tell you, you do not want to move. And if by chance you just, enroll for the day, you're going to definitely say, I need to get the replay. I hope you've got something to write with. I hope you've got something to write on. And I hope that you have taken the time to poise your questions, because today I have 12 phenomenal experts who are coming to you, who are going to bring to you some of the most incredible information that you could ever receive for your life, for your business. And I tell you, what a time it is to have the Winter Summit today. A few months back, just to kind of give you a little history on the Winter Summit. Well, a few months back in March, when all of this jumped off, I like to say, started the pandemic, everything that we were going to have to be on official lockdown. At that time, Facebook, gives you those little reminders. Well, what happened? It sent me a reminder that the Winter Summit 10th anniversary was in March. So yes, the Winter Summit didn't just start today, y'all. We have been producing events for professional business women all over the globe. We started 10 years ago in 2010. And I tell you, some of the most extraordinary events that you can just ask anybody about. Well, anyway, here, fast forward, March, it came to me, that it was the 10th anniversary. Well, one thing about it, when we started it, the whole point of us starting it was because we were exiting or still experiencing the recession from 2008. And as a business owner, you have to come up with your own stimulus package, right? And I know entrepreneurs can relate to that, and you'll hear some of the speakers talk about that today. Well, wanted to be able to have support on like what to do, how to continue to thrive in, economic challenging times, where to find, new opportunities. And that was the focus in 2010. Here we are, fast forward to 2020, 10 years later. And what's happening, right? We knew that if we were going to be forced to be locked down, right? And businesses are closed. I mean, you don't have entertainment. I mean, the sporting world, the faith community, every industry just about has been impacted. Well, what does that mean? It means that there are going to be challenging times, right? But with challenges, there are always new opportunities. And so that's, thankfully, God just, laid it upon my heart to say, you know what? This is the time to do this again. And we're definitely not going to do it in person. Well, here we are with the technology. Why don't we do it virtually? So that is the backdrop. I call my dear friend, who I'm going to be introducing to you here in a moment. And I said, what do you think? What do you think for such a time as this? And she's like, yes, that's it. Do it. You should do it. Definitely. Because we need to share this information. We need to be able to help other entrepreneurs, and we need to be able to help our community. Well, did I not know that here, not only would we be facing the pandemic and all of the ramifications, the domino effect of the economy from businesses being closed, right? But also to be experiencing the civil unrest, right? Not that this just happened, it's just that I like to say the pressure cooker, the lid is now being exploded. Like you build that steam up, that's where we are now. And this is the time for us to say what is it that we need to do for our community? Well, it begins with economic empowerment. Everyone has a role in the revolution of things, to be able to change things, to be able to steer, to be able to teach and develop a whole new system. Everybody has their role. And where does the business person's role lie? You can go through history in any type of the civil rights movement, any type of point, and we'll have Madam C.J. Walker's great-great-granddaughter on. She talks about how she helped to fund a lot of things, even went down to the White House to march and to talk about, combating the lynching and all of that. So we as business owners, the whole point behind this summit is being able to have ways that we can increase our economics, come together, and to be able to change things, because it's going to take income to do that as well. So today, I want you to be able to tune in, with an ear, that not just for yourself, but an ear as to how you can take this information that you're going to receive today and how you can apply it to your life, right? To your business, and impact not just your family, but your community and the world. So with all that said, thank you again for joining us today. We're excited to have you. And I have the privilege and the pleasure to introduce to you a young lady that I tell you, our friendship spans a decade. I cannot think of a better person to start this off today. She's incredible, a host of energy, and she is going to be talking to us today about the brand, y'all. That your brand is more than a color scheme. She is none other than Miss LaFern Batie, MBA, all of the titles behind her name. It's just too much to list right now. I don't want to take her time away. But guys, she is well documented to share with you today. So without any delay, I present to you Miss LaFern Batie, CEO of the Batie Group. Welcome, LaFern. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you. Good morning.
Great morning, great morning, great morning.
It is such an honor and pleasure being here serving you, Deborah. You know I love you and I appreciate you, and that's why I'm here to support you on a Saturday morning rather than being by the pool.
Yes.
And it is such an honor and privilege to be able to serve this community here during the Winter Summit. So I'm excited. I want to jump right on in so we can talk about branding. So I'm going to share my screen to walk you through just a little something that I think might help you understand what this might look like in your life, how you might apply it. So Deborah, can you see my screen?
I don't see it. And
okay.
You should have the ability. Just 1 second.
Okay.
Okay. Try it again.
Awesome. So I hope everyone is doing well, and I'm excited about this. Okay. See it now?
We see it.
Awesome. So I want to talk with you about why your brand is more than a color scheme. A lot of times, I know you, like I, have heard people say, I want to build my brand, or I want to focus on my brand. So I want to just give you insight, tips, and real practical tools on exactly how to do this. Now, I'll be very honest with you. I am not new to this space. I'm true to this space. I was talking and teaching about branding long before branding was something that was a buzzword in many of our communities. When I first started teaching on branding, I was presenting a seminar working within a Fortune 500 company. And somebody said, how do I do what you've talked about and how I've seen you demonstrate throughout your career? Being the entrepreneurial mind that I am, I started thinking about how do I package what I know has worked consistently? How do I package that in a way where other people can use it and benefit from it. So what is a brand? First of all, whether you work on it or not, you have one. I want you to think about the difference between going to maybe one of your higher end stores. Several years ago, when I was looking to buy a vehicle, I had one particular vehicle in mind, went to the dealership, pulled in, I'd made up my mind, it was time for me to purchase this vehicle, one of my dream cars. Pulled into the parking lot, excited about purchasing, ready, had my own money. Lo and behold, no one came to greet me. So I'm walking, looking, waiting for someone to say, "Hi, may I help you?" Now, mind you, I didn't want the rush of salespeople coming up to me, trying to smother me, but I did want at least a greeting. Didn't get it. Got back in my car, went down the street, had never intended to buy this particular brand, but I did, because when I walked in, pulled into that parking lot, I had someone there greeting me, asking me how I was doing. They didn't immediately hammer me with questions about how much money I had, what kind of car I wanted, how much I had for a down payment, none of that. They simply began building the relationship. To this very day, I own that same make of car because of the experience that I have. The negative experience that I had with the first dealership, that spoke to who they are, that spoke to their brand. The positive experience, the one that I have with this long-standing relationship, that spoke to their experience. The experience they created for me that kept me coming back every time I was looking for a different automobile. As a matter of fact, not only did it keep me coming back, but it had me referring other customers to them. So it's not something that you create. You have it, but you can intentionally reshape it based on your ideal target goals. So I want you to take a look at this. Whose logo is this? It's a very well-known name. I'm sure you've seen it before. Some of you are probably even carrying that logo with you right now. It's Apple. I'll start with Apple because it's a well-known brand, whether you own it or not, whether you prefer it or not. There are a lot of people who do. And Apple has become the benchmark by which others compare their products and services. And so they began to unfold and unravel this brand, moving from the original logo in 1976, where there was a quote by William Wordsworth on that original logo. It said Newton, because that's Sir Isaac Newton sitting underneath the tree, apple overhead, Newton, a mind forever voyaging through strange seas of thought. Now, just sit back and imagine that being on your iPhone, or imagine that being in a commercial these days. It is a solid brand, but your most solid brands will continue going through an evolution. If you want to stay relevant, if you want to grow and thrive, not just survive in an environment, not just like this, but any type of environment, whether it's one that's riddled with challenges or one that's filled with possibility and opportunity, you have to be willing to evolve your brand. This is the beauty of Apple. As they became clearer about who they were as an organization, what they offered, and what that promise meant to their customers, it became visually apparent in their logo. Take a look. From 1976, when they first got started, to some of you, like I do, remember that rainbow Apple logo, to the black logo, to one that is almost muted into their products. So if you turn on one of their devices and it has lighting, I use a Mac for our office. We have an Apple and Mac-based office. When I turn on that computer, the only thing that happens with that logo that lets me know it's there is the lighting from internal changes to external manifestation, that's what the logo is. But the logo is not the brand. The logo is an indication of what the brand represents. We like to jump into branding, get really deep into what that means and how that looks for you. But I strongly encourage you to start somewhere else first. I want you to start with your vision. But before you even get to the vision, and we're going to talk just briefly about what vision means. Before you even get to your vision, I want you to think about the mission. As you are creating a brand or evolving a brand that you've already established, think about why you are doing what you do. That's the foundation. That's the root of everything that will extend and be built upon from that brand. So why do you do what you do? What drives you? What wakes you up? What makes you keep going day after day, even when it's extremely challenging? And then we transition to the vision. Your vision is the optimal state, the ideal state of how multiple areas of the brand, and you are an extension, you are the part of that brand, how multiple areas of that brand look at any given point of time. This is the vision. When you're thinking about the vision, I don't want you to just consider what the business is doing or how the business looks from a branding perspective, but I want you to examine from a physical standpoint. Where are you? How are you? Get sick and find out how it impacts the brand, especially if you are the single point of failure or single point of success for your business. And I don't even distinguish between whether you have a separate enterprise or whether you're in an organization. You should be the CEO of anything that you operate, career or business. You should be the CEO. Anything less than being the CEO leaves your success to the whims of whoever else is out at the helm. And we know how that can look. How are you physically? How are you psychologically? What's your emotional state? What support do you need? Where are you spiritually? Because you bring your entire being into your business. Where are you financially? Are you building reserves and working from the overflow? Or are you struggling? And if so, what do you need to do differently to make sure you are working from the overflow? Where are you professionally? How competent are you? How confident are you? How equipped are you? How invested are you in what is required to build and run your enterprise? And what types of relationships do you have? Are you reaching out and connecting only when there is a need? Or are you nurturing relationships along the journey so that when you have a need, and vice versa, you always have someone to connect with? Deborah mentioned our conversation when she first talked about the Winter Summit, and I absolutely loved being engaged in the Winter Summit when she had it over a decade ago. I thought it was the most exciting experience to be able to connect with other like-minded leaders. But it's easy to make that quick call and say, hey, I have an idea. What do you think? Will you support it? When you have a relationship. It's harder to do that when the only call you're placing is when there's a need. So how are you building and maintaining relationships? This is the picture of a holistic vision. You're professional, that's where your business is. That's where your career is. Everything else supports it. Your financial, it could be your business or your career, and it could be other aspects of how you invest that help build your finances. So I want you to get really clear about the vision as you move forward into the brand. I'm going to talk about 4 key areas of branding. And I want you to walk away answering these questions for yourself. The first part is perspective. How do you see yourself? When you think about how you speak to yourself, how you think about yourself, how you view your capabilities and competencies, what is it that you are saying to yourself that gets you closer to the opportunities you say you desire? What are your strengths? What do you do extremely well? What are you equipped with? What are your values? What are your experiences? What's your knowledge base? What are the ideas you have about who you are and the way you think about yourself that will either help you move toward what you desire or disconnect you from it? Perspective is critically important. I often say to leaders when I'm working with them, I can smell confidence from 10 miles away. And at the same approach to life, by the same token, I can smell lack of confidence from 10 miles away. So when someone approaches me with a business idea or concept, how they engage with me, how they speak with me, how they feel about who they are, it's demonstrated just by their perspective of self. It's important for you to have a strong perspective of who you are. What drives you? What gets you going? What pumps you up? What builds you up? I don't want you to fake it until you make it. I want you to model it until you master it. Who do you see? Who do you follow? Who do you admire? Who inspires you? And you don't want to mimic who they are, but you want to learn how to weave elements of how they do what they do into how you do what you do, into your performance. That's the concept behind modeling it until you master it. What drives you? What really gets you going? What excites you? There are a lot of business opportunities out here. I had someone call me a couple of days ago and they wanted to know if I was interested in an opportunity. It's an exciting opportunity, extremely valuable. It's not my lane. It's not my love. And so you have to be really mindful of what drives you, because that determines what gets your time and attention. My friends, you're going to have to say no to some things to make room for the yeses that you want in your life. And some of those no's will be hard no's and difficult no's, because there are opportunities that sound exciting, but they're not for you. They don't take you closer to what you desire most. And part of knowing what drives you is understanding your core values. Without your core values, it feels difficult to even breathe. What is it that you're attached to? And how would I know, if I'm in your presence, whether those are areas that you actually value? So if you value collaboration, where do I see healthy collaboration showing up in your life? If you value leadership, how are you demonstrating it? How will I know? What evidence is there that you value leadership? If you value family, how will I know that? By the amount of time and attention that you give to your family. Anytime you're disconnected from your core values as you are reshaping your brand, anytime you're disconnected, it might last for a season, but it is going to be very challenging for you to sustain. So one exercise I want you to complete is I want you to identify your top 5 core values. What is most important to you? What can you not live without? What really gets you going? Think about that, because that's what's going to sustain you over the long term. The next part of branding is all about perception. How do others see you? Now, I know we want to think about how we think others see us, but the question really is, be it in a live space or in a virtual space, how do others see you? I want to introduce you, if you've not seen this before, to Moravian's theory. And this theory really applies to ways of engaging or being perceived when there are emotions that are connected. Now, I want you to keep that word in mind, emotion, because we're going to come back to that as we talk even further about branding. Moravian's theory says that 55% of someone's perception is based on the visual, on how you show up. So back to my example about whether you show up with confidence or whether you show up believing in what you do. And I'm talking about confidence, even if a part of you has wings fluttering like a butterfly in your stomach, still having confidence and commitment to what you're doing. 55% in the visual, only what people see. Then 38% is determined based on the vocal, how you say what you say, how you say it. 7% is based on what you say. So before we even get to what you say, how you show up, whether it's in a live space or a virtual space. So think about it, whether it's your website, whether it's your social media presence, everything about who you are and how you show up in the visual space helps shape the perception. 38% is the vocal, how you say what you say. And 7% on what you say specifically. And just as a reminder, you have about 7 to 10 seconds maximum to make an impression and shape someone's perception. 7 to 10 seconds. Think about that. When you're sharing words, what is it that you're sharing in the first 7 to 10 seconds? When you're showing up on video, what's happening in the first 7 to 10 seconds? All of that is critically important when you are reshaping and elevating your brand. The next part is about positioning. And at this point, I want you to see something that I think can communicate that message much more than I can, much more effectively.
Everything was done to try to learn how to become a better basketball player. Everything. And so when you have that point of view, then literally the world becomes your library to help you to become better at your craft. So because you know what you want, the world's giving you exactly the information 100% better at it because you know what you're looking for. So many guys tell stories about your work ethic. Yeah. What was really your work ethic like, and for how long did you stay disciplined? Well, I mean, every day. I mean, since 20 years, it was an everyday process and trying to figure out strengths and weaknesses. For example, jumping ability. Now, my vertical was a 40, wasn't a 46 or 45. My hands are big, but they're not massive. Right? So you got to figure out ways to strengthen them so your hands are strong enough to be able to palm a ball and do the things that you need to do. Quickness, I was quick, but not insanely quick. I was fast, but not ridiculously fast. Right? So I had to rely on skill a lot more. I had to rely on angles a lot more. I had to study the game a lot more. And but I enjoyed it though. So like from the time I can't remember when I started watching the game, I studied the game, and it just never changed.
So how are you being a student of the game? Positioning is all about two parts. If you think about our elite athletes, like the late Kobe Bryant, It takes a mindset that says, I can and I will do this. But it also takes conditioning, and conditioning is about speed, agility, strengthening, and flexibility. How does that show up in your business? It's about endurance, about how far you can go, and about how long you can go the distance. And you need both. You need conditioning, you need endurance. And that's what creates an exceptional athlete. I know that when we look at significant performances around the globe and those who have demonstrated significant performance, we know that it takes exceptional delivery. So how will you deliver? What's your performance? You've talked about, your vision, you've looked at why you do it. This gets us to the heart of branding. Branding is the emotional promise of an experience. You are making a promise. And performance is all about how you deliver. So what you've done in positioning yourself and preparing yourself, that shows up in your performance. So it's the name. When someone hears your name, what do they think? It's the visual appeal. When they see you, how are they impacted? It's the value they receive, the quality they receive. It's your attitude, how you serve, the relationships you have. Oh yeah, be mindful of who you connect with, because that speaks volumes about your brand. It's how you think. It's your core values. It's how you set yourself apart. Everything about who you are represents the brand. Every single thing about who you are. Be mindful of and intentional about every aspect of how you show up and deliver. So the key question, now that we've laid branding on the table, the emotional promise of an experience, is what is different about the clients you serve because they have worked with you? What's different about them because they've crossed your path? That is the true impact and effect of a brand. When you wrap this all together, it's about excellence, period. It's all about excellence, how you demonstrate, how you deliver. And let me just tell you, you don't have to be starting out as an elite athlete in order to get to a level of excellence. You can serve with excellence right where you are. Check this out.
Greatness, it's just something we made up. Somehow we've come to believe that greatness is a gift reserved for a chosen few, for prodigies, for superstars, and the rest of us can only stand by watching. You can forget that. Greatness is not some rare DNA strand. It's not some precious thing. Greatness is no more unique to us than breathing. We're all capable of it. All of us.
And that's what I want you to do, my friends. I want you to find your greatness. Not everybody is courageous enough to demonstrate it, but you can choose today to elevate where you are, even in this environment. And I'll just share a little insight with you. This has been one of the most profitable and amazing seasons for our business. I've been in business since 2005. This has been, during all of the challenges that other people are speaking about, the most profitable season for our business. And we've had some really good seasons. Why? Because we're strategic. We know why we're here. We have very clear vision. I, as a leader, make sure that I examine our strategy and engage in a very clear strategy that helps get us to where we desire to be. I want to leave you with this, because if you don't believe it, who else is going to? Success is not defined by your wings, but by your courage to leap from the cliff's edge and fly. Eagles, I know you say you want to do it. My question to you is, what are you going to do next? That's my piece for the Winners Summit. Deborah, I'm going to stop sharing, turn this back over to you, answer any questions that have popped up, but this has been an amazing opportunity for me to engage.
Oh my, oh my. I tell you, where do I start? Where do I start?
I'm coming out the gate hot.
Yes, yes, yes. Did I not tell you that she was going to set this on fire? Set it off, right? LaFern, thank you so much for the information. Let me see. I do see a couple of hands. Let me see if are there any questions. This is the time to ask now. Her contact information is all available on the website as well. You can continuously go there to ask any questions that you might have, and special offers that you have. You want to share the offer that you have available to the audience, because we know this is being recorded as well. So we want to make sure that they hear you state your offer as well.
Absolutely. I want you to do a couple of things. If you are interested in just assessing where your brand is, I want you to go, it's included on this site, but you can also find it on our website, and it's a brand strength assessment. It's free. I want you to take it. I want you to see where you are individually and where your business is. And also, we have opportunities for you to continue to learn and grow, one of them being our unveiling retreat, which we hold in Florida on the beach in October. It's October 16th through 18th this year. And you can go to tbgunveilingretreat.com or access it on this site. I am excited. Follow me. I like to share. I like to help you grow and learn in the virtual space, so you don't have to pay for everything. There's a lot that I share with you just from my heart to yours.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much again, LaFern. And I'm thinking here, I'm trying to see, I might have to have you release it back to me. Did you stop it? You stopped the sharing.
I stopped my sharing.
But if you would just kind of release it back at the participants and right click, yeah.
I'm coming back. I'm making you.
Yes. Yes, we'll get the dynamics worked out on that clearly. Yeah. So we'll have that there.
Okay.
Awesome. So it should be right with the participants if you click on that, and then you right next to me.
Make host. There you go. You're back.
All right. Awesome. Thank you so much again, LaFern. Have an amazing day. As we continue with our brand, we're going on to the next speaker, and we're going to compound on everything. Everybody that's here today, I want to make sure that you are literally taking notes, and you never know what happens if you're able to answer some of these questions that we'll be sharing with you. So definitely, I mean, when you talk about the brand and you talk about